Sorry. One last performance before we turn it into Mulder and Ad. Welcome back to the Full-Time Show. I'm your host, the Governor, and I want to hear from you, the fans, right now, following your team's absolute capitulation. Somebody put it really well in the chat, and because the chat is moving really quickly, and I thank you all so much for that. It's gone off my screen. But yeah, Rob Smith, there it is. To lose in such a poor way in front of your new manager is completely worrying. It truly is. And we want to really unpack it. There'll be a link coming in the chat. First of all, I want to say a huge thank you to all those that support us through one-off contributions. Your names are on the screen. We thank you all so much. I wouldn't be able to do it without you, because quite frankly, my wife would probably ground me forever for the amount of time I sit on this computer. And for those that support us monthly, if you wish to do so, you can through Ko-Fi. I will bring in our two contributors, Mr. Miltray, Ben Adams, and Mark Tuxford. Chat is really lively. James Reed, Danny Allen. We have identified defend like people who we just met. Strikers don't look up at all. Their keeper didn't make a single save. 4 strikers on the pitch and still didn't look like scoring. What an afternoon, Ben.
I am going to put a positive spin on this, and I'm going to say that Paul Cook would have learned more today about the job that needs to be done than if we'd have nicked a cheeky victory against 10 men. If he wanted to know exactly where he stands and what he's working with, then today was good for that. I would actually say today was so bad that you could almost put it down to a bad day at the office compared to how bad we usually are. So if you're Paul Cook, you're thinking, okay, right, now I know the lay of the land. Now I know the players I have, and I'm going to build from here. He would have learned a hell of a lot today. And Sears is that 15-year-old Fiesta who's sitting in the drive. The engine just conked out. You got to scrap it.
He was rubbish. Mark, I've heard. Look, this poster and me are synonymous. We're famous, and I've heard nothing but bad things for having a poster like this and saying this squad is not getting he's not getting the most out of this squad. Today is a day for me to say, well, we've got a new voice in the dressing room. Did it look any different to you, Mark?
No, they didn't look particularly any different. I think I've seen performances like that this season and last season under Lambert. But I agree with what Ben was saying there, that, it might be a blessing in disguise in a way, because I think Paul Cook can learn quite a few things from that game today, just by the level of individual performances collectively. And yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying about Sears as well. You come on. I mean, you're meant to come on as a substitute and affect the game in a positive way. There was 2 times where he gave the ball away and it ended up in our net twice. So very poor from him. And I don't know. He's completely lost it for me, Freddie Sears. And it doesn't really help that obviously he has been shunted out on the left because he, at the end of the day, he's a striker. He can't defend.
Or pass today, it seemed. Unless you pay for Gillingham. I mean, it was a fantastic trial for Gillingham, if for him, really. If I was Steve Evans.
Let's look at the plus side. Cook knows that now. Cook put Sears on, and I saw him come on. I thought, Freddie Sears? No, really? I'm not. I don't know. But then Cook doesn't know him. Well, he sure as shit does now. And if that's if we don't see too much of him, apart from we're running out a game, we're winning 2 or 3-1. He would have learned everything he needs to know about that player today, and that's going to benefit us. If he would have come on and we'd have kept it 1-1 or maybe even nipped it, Sears would be on another 20 games, well, another 10 games in the season. They've only got 15 left. So what he would have learned today will be absolutely, fundamental into how this team looks. Today, I guarantee you, is a blessing in disguise. It's actually, for the long-term project, for the 15 games left, we needed today. That was important, and I'm glad it happened today with 15 games left.
Absolutely right.
I completely agree.
Go on, Mark. Finish that point.
Sorry, no. I just saying I completely agree. I think it very much is a blessing in disguise, whatever way you look at it. And we could go down the route of like, well, it wasn't good enough today. We all know that, but really, we need to see improvement out of it, and that's up to Paul Cook at the end of the day.
You see, I'm of the other way. We're just, after all the months of, and he's gone now, so it's almost the last time we'll speak of him. But after all those months where Teflon Lambert could have gone, he goes on after the back of 3 wins, And then we get this performance, not even a defeat. If it was 2-1 or 1-0, and you fought and you thought, and it was brave, I could forgive it a little bit. But this was supposed to be new voice, extra, and it's almost gone the other way. And I don't know why that is, and maybe it's just a one-off. And we'll get some fan opinion. Before we do, we are after 2,000 subscribers. We are close, so please do hit the subscribe button if you are brand new here. Link is in the chat. Let's bring in our man from Down Under. How you doing, buddy? Good day.
Hey guys.
There you go, mate.
It's not a good way to start, is it? More
of a horror show for you, wasn't it?
And it was an early kickoff for me as well.
Yeah. What do you make of it then?
Terrible, really. Just shows a real. I think Ben was saying before, it is a blessing in disguise, but also I think this shows how bad our squad really is. Like a new manager, but he's just getting the same shit from the same shit players.
Yeah. Jay Cotton, this is reminding me that our team is so poor. Sears, Harrop, Bennett can start the squad forever, as far as I'm concerned. Who played the worst? Normally I say who plays the best, but Rob, for you today, who was the worst on the pitch? Who didn't really put any type of shift in?
Is it fair to say all of them, really?
If you want to, yeah. No, it truly is. I mean, you can start with the goalkeeper. Didn't put any confidence in me at all throughout the whole night.
Do not get me started about Holy. So I think he is fucking dreadful.
He had a terrible one today, didn't he? He was more advanced than some of our defenders were. Jesus.
He doesn't move.
No.
Pretty much, except for that one goal that he came out for. The other two, he didn't move. He was just like ball watching almost.
True. Yeah, it was. What do you make? What Says is getting flack today. Did you agree with Mark and Ben there that it's right to give Freddie's stick? Because he wasn't great, let's be honest.
Well, he hasn't been really great for a while, has he? Apart from that, what was it, 14, 15? He had about 15 or 20 good games. That was about it. That's really...
Yeah.
I think today was a real highlight of how poor he was today. He really was. As I say, if you're coming on as a substitute, you need to affect the game in some way, shape or form. The only effect he had on it was shit. Yeah.
Vince Bird thinks he showed more effort today than they did. Get about 5 to watch that rubbish. Totally agree. Let's bring in Jimmy Bullard. Jimmy, what did you make of that game?
Well,
Jimmy,
besides the fact it was awful, but I won't give Paul Cook any bashing for this. At the end of the day, he's doing what every manager does. He's trying to see everyone he's got. He's got a huge amount of players. Normally they'd have pre-season to have a look at everyone. He's got to do it while we're playing. So he's got to bring Freddie Sears on to see whether he's any good. I don't want to see him again. There's certain players who will probably appear and we're going to go, why is he bringing it? Because he wants to have a look at them. He doesn't really know. So he has to have a look at them in the match setting. And we have to put that, can we sneak the playoffs? Let's hope we can. Yeah. Let's all be positive. We'll get the playoffs. Yeah. But we've got to take into context. He's trying to build something. So he's got to see who he's going to keep and who he's got to get rid of.
I don't understand this, man. Mate, I'm going to be honest. You said it before the game, and I didn't understand it then, and I definitely don't understand it now. You're talking as if he's taking charge of a 13th place team that's 10 points away, and if we can get a little bit of a run going, fair play. We've just turned the corner. We've just beaten Hull, who arguably, I spoke to Portsmouth fans, I spoke to Wigan fans. They've said to me, Hull, best team in the division. They run away with it. We beat them. We've beaten Doncaster. We just turned the corner. I don't see this as a free hit. I don't see this as a let him see what he's got. I see this as this is a must-win situation. We must be top 6, nothing else.
Yeah, I agree.
If you look at Accrington, before that sending off, we were going to get battered. Yeah, they were well better than we were. Yeah, I'm looking at these last 3 games. They could have been flukes for all we know. They just turned up on the day and did the job. Accrington, until that sending off, they were the better side. Yeah,
they were.
And that could have very easily gone differently if there weren't no sending off. So you've got to look at it in context. Are these players better because they won 3 in a game, or were they just lucky because they won 3 in a game? That's a completely different argument.
More lucky, I think, because to be fair, Accrington did look better, or looked okay with 10 men anyway. Can't imagine what we're being like with 11.
Yeah,
Ben, what do you think about this? Because you can't put luck down for 3 games. 3 games, the whole game, for instance, we were better than them from start to finish.
Yeah, I know, and I'm kind of looking at the games ahead of us, and they're all kind of, we've got a supposedly really easy running. So the fact that we used to beat the teams below us and we can't beat the teams above us, this is like the worst time in the season for that to switch. However, there is one big positive piece of news that has come out today. And it's that, I'm looking for a clean slate in the summer. And it looks like we've just about got that because the purchase of the club has just been elevated to the EFL for ratification. And that just came out a couple of hours ago. So that's a big one.
Ben, has that been confirmed?
TWTD, it's on there. Yeah.
Oh, well,
I'll get the broom.
Well, that was on there about 2 weeks ago.
It was at the end of the Frank Yallop interview. And they said they've got the Playford Road and it's now just the actual purchase has been elevated for ratification.
What's his name? Phil Ham said that 2 weeks ago in forum.
What has been elevated to ratification?
It's been at Preston for 2 weeks. Normally,
I didn't catch that then.
Normally it takes a few weeks.
Okay.
It said
doesn't matter whether it's yesterday, 2 weeks ago, last year. Possible, as Rob says there, broom of change coming in. What do you just to keep the focus for a second on today, Jimmy? Yeah. No, it's fine. We'll talk about that in a second. But Jimmy, what do you put the poor performance down to? Because everyone was expecting pre-game a new manager bounce. So what do you put today down to?
The players, they didn't show up. There was no passion. There was no energy.
Yeah.
There was nobody that really looked like they cared. It's just like they were going through the motions. And the players, a lot of them who were playing for the contracts, to me that's baffling. It's as if they're so arrogant that they don't have to do anything. Yeah. You're playing for your jobs. Some of you might not even be playing football anymore because nobody will want you.
Yeah, it did look like a team not playing for their manager.
Yeah,
which would be the case if Lambert was still in charge. But we've got a new manager. It's like they're playing for Lambert. Did they miss the memo that Paul Cook got appointed manager?
That's to me a total arrogance from the players that they could just go out there and expect to win. You've got to go out there and want to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roll over.
You can't expect it.
Absolutely. Rob, I really appreciate you. Look after yourself. Thanks, have a good day, my man. Look after yourself. Fisherman, you were getting flack at half time for your Chambers stance, but he came through in the second half. Got us back in that game.
Oh, come on, that's the only thing he did well in all game, didn't he? I mean, where was the organisation for that free kick? Do you know what I mean? As a right back, and bear in mind, I have played there. Yeah, your role is if on that side of the corner, your role is to make sure you pick up the back end. Yeah, you're too old in midfielders to support your centre backs, and that's basically how you should set up defensively, whether you're a man marking or whether you're a man or zonal. Chambers weren't. I don't know what the organisation, not just Chambers, but the defence. I mean, he's the captain. Where was the leadership today? It was woeful. Dazelle, honestly, my God, everything he did today was just.
He had a shitter today, didn't he?
Lazy, arrogant. I'm Andre Dazelle. My dad used to play for this club, so therefore I try hard. Sorry, way you go. Get out. Don't want you. See as well. Got a great assist for their second goal, didn't he? And Bishop, a nice assist for their third goal. I mean, all right, their third goal was well taken, but I mean, come on, lads, that was poor.
Sears was so poor. He was so poor today, Sears. You'd have thought Gillingham would have brought him on, and it'd have been an absolutely inspired substitution by them.
And to be fair, I think there's another reason why Paul Cook gets a pass for this game, because that wasn't his team. He didn't pick that team. He was forced into having that team because we won 3 in a row. You know, if we hadn't won 3 in a row, how many of them players would have been picked? That's what I'd like to know. You know, Paul Cook normally plays with flying wingers. Chambers does not fit that mould. It probably would have been Mattison in there instead of Chambers because he's always played with flying wingers. Chambers is not that flying winger, that flying fullback. You know, Kenlock could do it, but he can't. You know, and I just love to know if we hadn't won 3 on a bounce, how many of that team would have played?
Good question.
I think he was forced into playing that team rather than
how many are going to start on Tuesday from that team?
Well, that's it, and we'll find out. You know, and out of a defeat, Mark, can sometimes come blessings, and maybe this is now the chance to, you know, that wipes the slate clean from the Lambert era and the recent wins, and it's now down to Cook, and it's now down to what he wants, what he thinks, and is not governed by what's gone before.
Great point.
Yeah. From here on in, it's got to be obviously, you know, Cook taking charge now, putting his own sort of stamp on the team. You know, you probably expect Judge to come back in if he's ready to go. But yeah, it's you know, it's difficult, as I say, with Yeah, we did misjudge. You know, he's been very good, especially in the middle.
Yeah.
And you know, it's playing these players in the right positions at the end of the day. And I think Cook understands that. And I think we'll see a little bit more of that. And hopefully, it might even go to a 4-4-2. Obviously, with Jackson.
Well, it'll be interesting on Tuesday. We're missing Norwood. Don't forget, he won't be starting on Tuesday. So it'll be very fascinating to see how that affects the formation, because you would think that the obvious answer would be 4-4-2. But now we have our main striker, who does seem to be in some good form, who's not going to be available for us. So I think Jackson will start, and hopefully he starts in the middle rather than being pushed out on the right and doing something crazy like putting Sears in there or something. So it'll be really interesting on Tuesday. Really fascinating game.
Yeah.
All right, Steve.
Sorry.
I'm just I was watching a podcast with Paul Cook on, and it was an interview with Paul Cook. He doesn't change his style for anyone. He did it once because the fans asked him to. They lost, and he played on that for donkeys. If we expect him to go 4-4-2, don't. He's not going to do it. It's going to be 3-5. It's going to be like
4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1.
Stephen, appreciate you as always. Thank you so much, my man. I wasn't to bring in Stuart, but he's just disappeared. So I'll bring in Mr. Positivity, his twin, Lee. Welcome in, Lee. I think it's not just to make you aware, it's not this Tuesday Norwood misses.
It's the next one.
It's Fleetwood away, or
okay.
the Fleetwood fixture that he misses. This Tuesday, we've got Lincoln, which is a watch-along, by the way, for those keeping track at home, with some stars joining us, as always. No, Mike, not you. I love you, really. I love you, really. Anyway, Lee, what did you come on? What did you make of today? First of all, James effing Norwood, he was woeful. Who wasn't woeful? Talk to me.
I just think it was a bit like the Accrington game, wasn't it? Until the sending off, we don't tend to play well against that direct style of football. We don't pick up any second balls. We didn't pick up the second ball around our box, and we didn't pick up the second ball around their box. So you're always going to be out of possession, and we didn't take care of the ball. With 2 goals that we conceded second half, we're down to not controlling the ball, and there's got to be a balance struck, isn't there, between trying to get the ball forward quickly and what Lambert tried to do, as in possession football. And we've got to be somewhere in the middle. And today, we didn't take care of the ball. So we're going to get punished. And that's sort of the reality of it. Especially the third goal. I mean, how many times did we have possession, gave it back, then won it, and then gave it back, and it fell to that guy who took the ball well? It's too frantic. I mean, they played to their strengths, but we allowed them to, because we didn't play to ours by trying to take control of the ball. And it was quite interesting. First half, we had more possession, but it didn't feel like that. The ball was bouncing around. It's like a pinball, and that really plays into teams like Gillingham, Accrington's sort of style of play.
So what do you put it down to? Like, who are you pinpointing the blame on? Because you're saying why we didn't play well. But I like to know why and who was, because for me, midfield, first up, I said to Mark,
it's not Cook, because he's not been here long enough to do that. I just wonder if, with Cook coming in, sort of the players have gone a bit too hyper, perhaps. Because sometimes, it's the players.
That was a hyper performance?
No, but it was because we're trying to knock the ball too long. We sometimes just got to slow down, take a breath, put your foot on the ball, and pass it to somebody in a colour shirt. And we didn't do that all game. So that's probably down to the players, isn't it? And that's, I think, sometimes it's the decision making that the players make. And we've got better technical players than what they had today, but they played to their strengths far better than we did. And when you've got better players, you've got to put the ball down on and play. I thought Harrop, although he didn't really do a lot, when you get him on the ball, he looks good, doesn't he? He looks good on the ball. But if it's pinging over his head, going between defence and attack, then it's a lottery. And I think that's just what we had today.
I actually felt that the ball spent more time in the air than it did on the floor today. I don't know how we had any more possession than what Gillingham had, but it kind of made the likes of Bishop and Dazelle completely redundant in the middle of the field, because it wasn't going through them at all. So,
but when they did get the opportunity, both Dazelle and Bishop, they were horrendous.
Yeah, completely agree.
We had Norwood up front, and all we were doing is playing long ball up to Norwood either sometimes into the channel or a lot of the time up to. I mean, no disrespect, but I know he can jump. But you know, them defenders, they were like 6'7", some of them. And Holy today, that bloke should never put a goalie glove on ever again. Honestly, we'd have been better off with Luke Chambers in goal.
Mike, it's interesting what you say about.
Did he? He didn't look comfortable at all. Holy, he just for some reason today for me is the worst.
Awful.
The worst he's played in a long, if not ever, in a blue shirt. He just didn't ever look comfortable, Mark. At any point of today, did he look comfortable?
I mean, I sort of agree, but sort of disagree at the same time. I think the things that he did come out and he dealt with them. But at the same time, I don't think he needed to come out as much as he was. I don't really think he had much confidence. We talk about confidence in the goalkeeper from the back four. I actually don't think he's got much confidence in the back four in front of him. So that's the difference there, and it's sometimes comes with so much change that comes along. You don't have a consistent side, but at the same time, the last three, have been completely unchanged. I thought Toto had another shocker today. I mean, the thing with Toto is that it's one of these sort of things where, he'll put like a really solid performance in, like maybe an 8 or 9 out of 10, but then the following week normally he's a 3 or a 4, and today he was probably a 4 without giving away a penalty. So, it's consistency, and that's something that we have completely lacked for years, absolutely years. It doesn't matter what the manager is or anything like that. It's the team, and we just lack that consistency for me.
But what our holding mids didn't do anything, did they? Whether we're playing 1 or 2, they gave our defence no support whatsoever.
Didn't pick any second ball up, did we?
All round.
Didn't pick any second ball.
Sorry,
mate. We didn't pick up any second ball, did we?
No, absolutely spot on, Lee.
No second ball, and and when you're playing like that, you've got to roll your sleeves up and say, right, we know what's coming at us. Let's pick the second ball up. If we play it up top, and then I think the difference between today and some of the other games is that the ball had gone up to Norwood or Parrott, and we kept it and we could build from there. But we didn't have any of that today. It kept coming back, so you're always under pressure.
The thing is, if you can have Peter Crouch up there, you can have all the target men you want up there, but if you haven't got anyone that's around him or feeding off him, then he's completely redundant again. You can Bishop, Harrop, Dizelle, they should have been around him to pick up that ball, that second ball that we're all talking about now. And there wasn't any of that at all, because they just don't get close enough to him. Even if it was Hawkins up there or Drinnan or Norwood or whoever it is, we don't get players close enough to him. And it makes that striker up the top completely redundant.
Yeah, I think we would
have struggled in that side today.
Yeah, I think we got dominated the way the dog just completely outmuscled.
It'll be really interesting to see what. I want to echo something that Victoria said. She said, at least Cook is not going to come out and say that we played brilliant. Well, God, what if he does? What if he comes out in just a different accent and say he thought we were fantastic and good today? Well, I'm going to sit on my sofa and I'm going to start rocking backwards and forwards, thinking, "Oh no."
Well, I've got my man hopefully giving me the press remarks in a second. Mike, I do appreciate you. I'm going to bring in King Callie. King, what did you make of today?
Hey, Callie.
I was falling asleep towards the end of that. It was shit. It was a shit game. Typical League One encounter. But one result ain't going to define our season. If someone would have told you before the whole game, if someone had said to you before the whole game, the next 4 games you're going to get 9 points, and one will be a loss against Gillingham, we'd all snapped everyone's hand off.
True.
So let's it's going to happen. We wouldn't have, I know I said the other week, we're going to go unbeaten, and that's me saying it with my heart, right? Saying, I think we can go on unbeaten. Reality is we're in League One for a reason. We've got a League One squad, and these things happen. I think you'll see a different performance on Tuesday against Lincoln. There'll be a response. I'll be very surprised if there wasn't. Team itself was absolutely shocking from everything. I know people have said a few things there about Toto, and I am going to say something there, which is I don't think he was the worst, but I don't think you can blame him for a lot of those goals, apart from possibly the third one, right? But first goal, Parrott and Norwood are basically holding their bollocks and just watching the ball. First goal goes in. Second goal, I don't know what the hell happened. And the third one, the second goal, sorry, is the one where Sears played it through, didn't he? Yeah. Sears plays the ball through. Downs, who's everyone saying, "Oh, we need Downs." Downs was shit when he come on as well. Downs didn't know whether to come.
Yeah, he was.
Well, he's got Jordan Graham in front of him. Does he go there? He doesn't. So then Kenlock's got to track down and try and catch up and get that winger. So all of a sudden we're on the back foot already. And the third goal, Bishop plays a lovely through ball for the Gillingham player. Holy, okay, he clears it up, then he passes it, then it comes back. Then when the guy has a shot, is Holy like trying to like watch the money with the club or something and doesn't want to get his kit dirty or something? Because I don't recall him diving at all. Like, who doesn't dive? The ball's there and he just watches the ball go into the back of the net. Like, oh yeah, there's a goal. Everyone was shit. There was no bite in our midfield. We had, toothless puppies have more bite than our midfield did today. And
even our kit looked bloody awful. I couldn't tell which players were which. I know, man. How much did you spend on that? I'm worried.
I got a deal. I mean, I got a deal. But no, it's just like Norwood, and this is what I was saying about Norwood before, is you need those one-on-one chances. You put that one-on-one chance away in the first half, it's 1-1 going into half-time. It's a different game, right? And we could have shithoused a draw or a 2-1 or something. But he's not doing it. And I know what we're saying. He ain't got the people around him and stuff like that. And I know people are talking about, I know, Ben, I think you're talking about, or Lee, you're talking about Harrop as well. Harrop for me is just another Bennett. Like, okay, there's, he can run at the players. Best part of Keenan Bennett is his initials, and that's it, KB. Everything else about him is shit, right? He can run at players, but he can't. I think in all the times I've seen him play, that was the first time today I've seen him put a decent cross in for where Parrott did the overhead kick. Correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember a cross there. We need a bit more than that. But let's not get too deflated. It's a loss. It is what it is. We're still, to quote Paul Lambert, we're still in the mix. Yeah. And Paul Cook, he's got a couple of days of training or whatever. It's going to take a couple of games. It's going to take a couple of games to see what Paul Cook is. On the flip side, at least now Paul Cook can make his changes and put his team out.
Yeah, whatever. I agree with that. I think they're fantastic points. I say today was a learner for him. Today was a real whoa, okay, now I know why Lambert left. Got it, with you. So I think it starts from Tuesday. Today was his grace game. He could have just sat in the stands again and watched. But Tuesday, we can actually start saying he is going to start having that influence. I'm fascinated to see the post-game interview. That is going to be really interesting.
Comments coming shortly. I pick up those points there, Lee. I get that all of those points. I just dominated by Gillingham doesn't sit well with me, regardless of who sat in the dugout and at what point of the tenure they are sat in the dugout. Dominated by Gillingham.
Yeah, I just think going Cook and that, he's had one training session. We're playing Tuesday, Saturday every week, so he can't get people on the training ground, can he? So it's going to take a little bit of a while to get his way onto the pitch. But I don't know.
We haven't got a while. We've got now.
Well, absolutely. Well, that's why he's not changing too much, and he's come into a team that's probably been in its best form of the season, and it's unusual for that to happen. I think you were talking about it pre-game, weren't you? That he's come into it. Normally you come in and you've lost 3 on the bounce or 4 on the bounce, and you come in, you sit everyone in the dressing round, you give them a Churchillian sort of statement, pat them all on the back, send them out, make them feel 10 foot tall, and they get a result. But this is slightly different. Is it a bad day at the office? I mean, as Callie said, I don't think in this league we can go out and win every week. It's just not going to happen.
Manner of defeats, though. Manner of defeats, Lee.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm more focusing on today. It's not the fact we got beat. That happened. It's the manner. And their second goal, nobody, except from Miles Kenlock, is really breaking a neck to get back in position. They're all loafing back. There's no bite. There's no urgency. There's no, oh my God, my life is on the line.
They look tired.
You can't be tired. Gillingham have got a small squad. AFC Wimbledon have got a small. Everyone is tired in March. You dig within, and that was my worry. New manager, I expected just a little bit of oomph today, and I didn't get it.
Downs for the second goal. I mean, I know Callie's put on that. He was he went out of position, but he was 2-on-1, wasn't he? It was 2-on-1 because we're all spread out waiting for Sears to play the ball to Downs. Downs doesn't get the ball. He's trying to sort 2 men out. It's played over the back of him. Kenlock's trying to run back because he's high up the pitch.
But that's decision making, isn't it? Like football, things happen
Yeah,
in it, right?
yeah.
So you got to be switched on decision making. Make that decision straight away. He made the wrong decision. He should have run straight with the winger who went down, right? Because if you look, I think Jordan Graham, who we got sucked into, there was already someone else. I think Bish was already there, or someone else was already there in front of him. So Downs made the wrong decision. But I'm not here to throw anyone under the bus, right? The whole team was shit, right? No one gets above a 4. No one gets above a 4 today, right? That's fact. But I'm just going to say, pick up something you said there, Martin, about manner of defeat. If we flipped it and we've had wins where we've shit houses got a win, we don't say manner of the win there. So a defeat's a defeat. We move on.
Oh, I don't know. A large part of Lambert's reign was saying how we're winning, but we're not winning well. We're not playing well. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. I think there has been a lot of talk about the way you've won a game. Is it unfair, Mark, to have expected a little bit more like more fizz from today's performance?
No, I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, as players, you play for the manager that's just come in. That should give you a massive boost, if anything. And that boost really should last at least 3 or 4 games. So to start it off with a loss is obviously quite worrying. But from the overall big picture point of view, this could be a bit of a blessing in disguise. And yes, we're not going to win all the games.
Yeah, I think the longer term prospects are better after a loss. And look, we all thought in our heart of hearts we were going to do a Cardiff City, didn't we? New manager come in and go and absolutely, try 6 wins in a row. But we're a different league and a different squad than that. So I think the long term payoffs of losing today are better than the short term payoffs of winning. Is my sentiment of it.
Lee, appreciate you calling in. Thanks ever so much. Cheers, Stuart, what did you make of today's performance? Crunch, you're next. What did you make of today's performance, Stuart?
Abysmal. That's all I'm going to say. Abysmal.
Yeah. Tony Mann says losing is losing. Doesn't matter who is the manager. It shouldn't just be a loss. Move on. It should be a loss. Put yourself up and do better. We agree everyone played poorly today. So looking at Tuesday for a moment, Stuart, what do you do if you're Paul Cook? Who do you bring in? Who do you not bring in? Do you ever bring Freddie Sears onto the pitch again? What's going through your mind there?
Well, I would say I would bring in Mattison for that game on Tuesday because he's not had any minutes on there. He deserves a game at least, if not more. I wouldn't put Sears on. It was an absolute shock of horror. Dazelle was another one that was absolutely woeful. Spot on. Yeah, spot on. There definitely needs to be a change, isn't there, Mark, on Tuesday? Fresh impetus, fresh ideas, and a way forward.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be change. I think obviously we've had 4 games now where it's been completely unchanged. Obviously 3 decent results before this one, but if you lose a game, then you've got to expect changes at the end of the day. So someone comes in and takes your place. And again, if they do well, then you keep the same side. You keep that winning formula. You keep the consistency. But yeah, I expect changes. I mean, one of them will probably be Judge, as I said, that will probably come in if he's ready to come back. I wouldn't be surprised to see probably Edwards come back in because Bennett's for me was abysmal today. And maybe a change at the back potentially, maybe change the goalkeeper. So, you never know. Obviously Norwood as well. If he's not available, but yeah.
I'll bring the cruncher in. Victoria Henderson. We aren't going to win every match, but it's the fact we lost so emphatically. Back to no passion. Cruncher.
That's not cruncher. That's not the cruncher. That's babyface cruncher.
It is babyface.
Look at it. Look at that smooth skin.
Just to let you all know, Northampton are dominating Portsmouth. So when I say this was the worst performance of the season, and you come back to me and say Northampton crunch, I'm going to say they're beating Portsmouth 3-0, mate.
I'm just going to let everyone know that you were happy. You were happy that we lost because you think now, because we've been saying that we've got a good side. Now you've been proved right then, Martin, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Well, like I said I think it was last Sunday show, I said, the players are shithouses. They're shithouses because they woke up knowing a new manager coming. And then today, look, not anyone comes out of any credit on that pitch today. The goalkeeper, the defence, the midfield, the strikers, all of them were not more than a 5, were they? Not more than 5 out of 10.
I think more than 3 is being kind. So if we just sort of park today and say, right, that's done. They weren't great. There was no fears, no bounce. Paul Cook can't say he got it wrong because he's not been here long enough to get it wrong. The players just let him down. So he'll be saying that to them. You've let me down. I want you to show me that's not who you are as a squad, and I've not made a huge mistake walking in this changing room. So Tuesday, Lincoln is one of the games we all sat there at last minute and said, "Oh no, a point if we're lucky." So what do you do for Tuesday then, Crunch? What if you're Paul Cook? What's your plan?
Look, I said to you, I can't remember because we've done so many pods in the week. I said to you, Martin, Cook has got a free hit this season. He's got a free hit with his squad.
But he can't.
He's got a free hit with his squad. He really has. He's seen there today with his own eyes what we've got. And we can all sit here and say, Sears come on, he was awful, he was at fault for 2 goals, which he was. But it wasn't just him. It's like the second goal. Sears gives the ball away. Downs is out of position. Toto falls over. We can't. Let's not say that Toto's not to blame because he should have fucking cleared the ball. You have to get your teammate makes a mistake. You have to dig in and get them out of the shit, and we didn't. It's like the third goal. The keeper's made. He's done all right, Holy. There, he's come out. He's got caught a little bit in no man's land, but he's done well. And then Chambers gives the ball away poorly, and he's out of position. It was a good finish. He's curled it in the corner. But
the keeper didn't dive. The keeper didn't dive, man. Sorry, you're meant to be a goalkeeper. Dive for the fucking ball. There was more diving this morning in India. When we won 3-1 in the test. But I'll just put that up.
Nakatoga.
Like he did say. There's more diving there. This goalkeeper, 6 foot whatever he is, the man can't dive. He's a big fucking tree. Dive.
Look, we
don't come for a cross either.
I don't think there's any of us on here who thinks he's a decent keeper. I'm not having the first goal that Chambers was at fault, Mike Brown. Norwood has a job to do. That is his man to mould. Look, just because it's on the right-hand side, it doesn't mean it should be Chambers because they'll all have jobs to pick up certain people. He should have done better there. The goalkeeper, Martin, thinks the goalie should have saved it. Not for me. He was 6 yards out and he smashed it in. Norwood's turned his back and he's let it go through him. He has to
I want a body part.
Block the ball.
I want a body part. He can still score, that's fine. But I want a body part from my goalkeeper because it's literally just flown past his leg.
For how bad we played, at 2-1, Jackson's hit the bar. If that goes in, it's 2-2, and we could have got away with it. Goals change games. But Tuesday night, it's Lincoln at home. None of us should sit here and fucking be shitting ourselves that it's Lincoln. Yeah. We're Ipswich Town. We're playing at home on our own pitch. Get out there, get into them, and let's put this result to bed. If we win Tuesday night, get 3 points. This is forgotten about, and we go on to the next game.
That's 12 out of 15 points against top teams, and that
which we'd all take.
Any day of the week. Yeah.
Any day of the week.
Where we are now, and I think this comes back to we're talking about the new manager bounce and all the rest of it. Paul Cook's in a bit of a sticky situation, not a sticky situation, but in a situation where a lot of new managers don't have. Is he's come into a winning team, and that's been a bit difficult. I agree with what Ben was saying. This could be the blessing in disguise. So now he can actually hit the team he wants and the team he sees. Because there's no way in a million years Paul Cook puts Freddie Sears in the team again. No fucking chance.
No, not now.
And then it was just, and same for Holy. I don't care if you're fucking 20'5", 20 foot tall or however big he is. You're a shit goalkeeper. Go play basketball or something. Football's not for you, mate. Do you know what I mean? I'll put Cornell in and bring back Harry Wright or someone.
I'll bring Cornell in. You brought him in for a reason, Mark, and he's been in and out and never really given a run of games, has he?
Yeah, well, I mean, the games that I've seen Cornell, I'm not fully convinced by him either, to be honest with you. But, I think what's in favour of Holy is that he can actually come and, claim a cross and stuff like that. But then at the same time, he can't dive for a ball. So there's pros and cons out of it, I suppose. But, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cornell come in on Tuesday.
Yeah, but Mark, don't you think he's only just recently, over the last 5 to 10 games, started being able to come and catch crosses? He was dog bollocks when he was Flappy Bird. He couldn't catch a ball at all. He wasn't coming for crosses. He was getting bullied by 6 foot strikers and 5'10" strikers.
I actually think he was pretty decent when he first joined the club. But I think since then, I think he had like a bit of an injury and had some time out, and either Norris or whoever came in, I don't think he's ever recovered that form, to be honest. Okay. But yeah, I'm not fully convinced by Cornell either, if I'm honest.
I just feel a bit safer. I feel a bit safer with Cornell in goal. I don't know. He just feels me a bit more. I'm not saying both are backup goalkeepers at best, right? They both should never be an Ipswich Town #1 goalkeeper.
Yeah.
We've been blessed over the years. We've been blessed with great goalkeepers, right?
I know,
yeah. Well, yeah. Apart from when Bart has a little sulk and moans like a bitch and doesn't want to play for us, and when we get relegated, but that's Bart for you, whatever, right? Fuck Bart, he's gone. I don't care about him. The problem is we've been blessed with these goalkeepers, and now we've got like 2 backup goalkeepers. Neither one's really like, oh yeah, outstanding. We've got 2 Dean Gherkins basically, and that's all we've got. And
even Gherkin is better than these 2. Even Gherkin is better than these 2.
I just feel a bit more confident with Cornell.
Did you not feel today that they were asking a different? Holy's played a different game today, Ben. Like, it just felt more of a sweeper keeper role than I remember seeing from Holy in a long time, and I just felt that it was like a fish out of water. He was not comfortable.
Yeah, he wasn't. And look, he's been asked to play 2 different ways. At first, it was passing out from the back, which we've kind of gradually, we've almost certainly gotten rid of that now. And I would say Cornell was the better keeper for that style of play. But I think the point about we've got 2 sub goalies, 2 squad goalies is exactly right. I think that's one of the very first acquisitions we have to go after in the summer. Holy's a nice guy. Cornell is a ham sandwich. It's neither good nor bad, but if you're hungry, you'll take it. He's almost said nothing. And I think a well-chosen keeper, you build a team from the back of that. But the style of play that we've done throughout the season, we're not doing religiously every single pass from the back to the defenders, across the pitch, back to the kid. We've stopped doing that. And I think, for a goalkeeper, fair enough, you're now being asked to do something completely different. And it may change again after this. So, but then again, they're professional goalkeepers. You have to
Aaron
be
Lee Barrett, he was shit, wasn't he?
Still better than these 2.
What?
He was fucking phony. He played in goal when we lost 5-1 to Norwich, Martin.
I wasn't his fault.
He was fucking rubbish.
We had big problems with Aaron Lee Barrett that day.
Lee Barrett.
I agree with Crunch. He was shit.
Yeah, look, Mark agrees with me. He's putting his hands over his eyes.
His points per game. His points per game was fantastic.
Would you put him in over Holy, Aaron Lee
Absolutely.
Barrett?
I'd put you in go over Holy, Ben. Stuart, I appreciate you. Don. Aaron Lee Barrett slander on the show. Sort it out, man.
I would take Gherkin over both. Let's just put it out there. No, to be honest, I see it slightly differently. Like, I think both Cornell and Holy, like, I don't think they're shot stoppers. They do that part fairly reasonable. I don't see him letting in goal after goal straight out and all those calamities. The problem is when we start playing it, we start playing football with them. You should remember that one at Doncaster Holy was involved in, which made us look proper stupid. That was similar to today's, wasn't it? When you ask them to play football and come out and cover and sweep and all that, it goes badly wrong. We haven't got that standard of keeper. I think if you just ask them to do the basics, I don't think you have much of a problem with either of them. Really.
Yeah, explain the 3rd goal then. Any goalkeeper dives. The man watches the ball. He's standing there like he watches the ball.
I know what you mean, but really it was created because of the whole mess of that situation. I mean, we had the ball. We could have cleared the ball probably 3 times, and that's where it ended up. Was he at fault for the other goals?
Probably.
He's always involved, isn't he? Any keeper's involved in a goal, but sometimes you have to look at what's going on in front. I think the defence, which has been solid, it's almost like when one person makes a calamity, like if one of them makes a calamity, like Enciala will follow, and then so on and so forth. They're sort of led. It's consistent. They all go with each other. Sorry,
your teammates have got to get you out of the shit. If you make a mistake, you can't have another one making a mistake, then another one. Look at the second goal. It's down in their left-hand side of the pitch. 10 seconds later, it's in our goal. That can't happen.
Wilson and Downs got sucked into the ball, and that guy had the whole of Kent, didn't he, to cross that ball? That's a great finish, to be fair, but it was the classic breakaway goal. If you ask someone to draw what a breakaway goal was, 1 ball, 2 balls goal. Yeah. It was classic, wasn't it? We couldn't deal with it.
Still no press conference. The chat is saying that he's locked him in the changing room. Make of this what you will. I will keep checking my guy on the ground. But in the meantime, did it remind you of Doncaster, Rob, in the sense that like that 3rd goal was almost the way we could have cleared it 2 or 3 times before they finally put it in the net? It was just a capitulation today. It was just.
It was like one of those moments like FIFA or something where you think you're good and you try to play out from the back, and then you give the ball away 20 yards from goal, never recover it, and then 2 or 3 passes later it ends up in your own net. It's one of those where you should have just got rid of it. I think we hesitate too much. There's too much indecision at times. I feel the defence has overall been solid for quite a while, but it is almost like when we make one mistake, you can expect a couple. And
I just want to read out some of your messages in the chat earlier, Rob. More of their bullshit today. Whilst I wanted Lambert gone, the players let us down. Game after month after year. Clear out this dog shit. Too many players letting us down too often, and for too long.
I think I sat on the fence quite well with that. No, honestly, I do think that at the end of the day, they've got rid of Lambert and they've got Cook in to make a change and get us promoted this season, as far as I'm concerned. Because otherwise, you might as well have kept Lambert. If you want to finish 8th or 10th, keep Lambert. They clearly don't. They clearly don't. Therefore, they've brought him in. Therefore, for me, Cook's not going to go in the summer if the players don't perform. The players are in a precarious position here because if they don't perform, they'll be gone before the manager. Normally, it's the other way around. So it's up to them now. Those players have underperformed in the relegation. Some of them last season, this season, they're running out of chances.
That's why I said contract. That's why I said it's a free hit for the manager because he can assess
this season. Almost is in some ways.
Today, I think you have to give Gillingham a lot of credit. We're on here moaning about us. They done a job on us. They done like Rotherham last year. They bullied us. They won every second ball, got in our faces. And we don't play well against teams like that. We don't play well against teams like that who don't give us time on the ball. Dazelle, woeful today. Bishop, woeful. But I'm not sure who it was said on it. A lot of the ball was going over their head because Gillingham, they knew how to play. They've watched us play before. Steve Evans is no mug in this league. He knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. Crunch, Callie, I love you both. See you hopefully tomorrow. Crunch certainly will. Steve, welcome in. What did you make of today's game?
I think it summed up as woeful. I think that, them players need to have a real long, hard look at themselves, especially the ones that we've got contracts going. Do you know what I mean? If we did go up, who would you keep? I couldn't name a few of them who you would keep. The big man in the goal, well, he might as well have been on row X for all I care. End of the day, it was just absolutely shocking. I think it makes me really angry. Jackson comes in, seemed all right to me. So what an absolute disdain for the club that he can just roll in and then just go in and just play like nothing's happened. We all said about Lambert and we all said about, his time was coming to an end, but you play for the club. And at the end of the day, if that was the issue in between them two, then, he should be coming out and they all should be coming out and playing really well because they're on show and they've got to earn them contracts back, and they haven't done that. So I hope that when he's locked into that changing room, that he's giving them what for and saying, actually, this ain't good enough for our club. This ain't good enough for our team. And you need to pull your fingers out, personally. That's the way I feel. You said something there
I want to come back to very quickly in a second. I'll leave you there. TJ, before I go back to what Steve said there, what did you make of today's game for your thoughts?
Yeah, it was shit, but I think we need to calm down a little bit collectively. I feel like we've probably been blindsided a bit by the last 2 wins as part of this 3-win bounce. I don't think we've played exceptionally well against Accrington or Donny. We got the wins and we gritted it out a bit. But yeah, I think this is probably what we needed, just as a little bump, just to say we're not as good as we think we are. But look at the league. Look, we've won 3 games.
Oh, he's frozen. Is that hamster Wi-Fi again? I've got some Paul Cook's comments coming through now. First of all,
I want to hear you do it in the accent. If you're gonna do Paul Cook, come on, get that smokers, scousers accent.
I can't. Always going to be a
come on.
game. Unfortunately,
we were fantastic. Brilliant today. What have I done? I'm going back home. Christ.
I think that's Sean Dyche, isn't it?
Don't make me get my Sean Dyche out. Unfortunately, felt that Gillingham were the better. Didn't felt we were in it until we scored, but then it went away. Tiredness not an issue, and it's not the right excuse. We weren't good enough. Concede 3 poor goals. I've been in the building for 2 or 3 days, learning all the time. Reality will be the clubs like future will go forward one day. I'm not quite sure if that's come through correctly, but basically saying he's been here 2 or 3 days and not to get carried away as TJ was kind of alluding to there. But going back to what you said there, Steve, about next season, takeover. here for ratification, as Ben was saying at the start of the show, etc. How vital for you is it that we get this takeover, or is it not vital?
Yeah, it is vital. I appreciate it is vital, and I'm nice and confident that that's going to happen. However, gents, we've got to think about this year. I appreciate that is possibly on its way in, but we've got to think about this season as well. And actually, the players should be thinking, yeah, the takeover may be coming, but I haven't got a contract next year. So actually, I need to show the manager who they're clearly going to back that actually, if he goes, actually, you're not in my plans, thanks very much, see you later. Or I need to play here because actually, if I'm not in his plans, I need to be putting myself in his plans, if you get what I mean.
But then the takeover's got nothing to do with the players, and they can only affect what they can affect, Mark.
No, Martin, sorry, I disagree with that because the money potentially is coming from that takeover. So will that money get them contracts if they want to play with them contracts?
And like today, it won't do.
No, it won't.
It's going to be a good time for them to get a new deal at the club. I think that's what we're saying. If they can earn a new deal, and it's the good time. If we get promoted, even if we stay in the league with a takeover, it will still be the club in a better position and can go better places. So it's the right time for the players to earn a contract.
Of course it is. Totally. And realistically, Cook's going to want to bring his, and this, I think I've said this before, Martin, when I've been on before, is that actually it's the ideal to take time to take the club, because if the takeover's over, I wouldn't be taking the majority of them players with me. Even if I was staying in this league, I wouldn't. I don't think they've shown enough. Norwood pisses the hell out of me because he's got so much talent that we said before the season. I said to you guys pre-season that he had to have a really good season this season and bang some goals in. And I think he's too busy on Instagram. He's too busy with whatever else he's doing, and he just needs to put his finger out and actually do something. Jackson could be an absolute fantastic player. I think with the right setup, he could be. I just think that there are too many people that are just thinking, actually, I'll come and play for Ipswich. I'll stick the shirt on. And actually, if Cook's got anything about him, he's going to go, actually, no, this ain't acceptable for our club. Now pull your fingers out and let's see what they do.
I've got a few more Paul Cook comments in a second. But TJ, takeover, where do you stand as a fan on it? Are you for it? Do you want it?
Yeah, we need change. We've been stagnant for 14 odd years. So I think we all need it. I think I said last time I spent half my life under Evans' regime. So I need something to change. I think we all need something to change, don't we?
Absolutely. I'm all for it. And Robbie, takeover. I mean, it's got to happen. If it's going to happen, it can happen. It's got to happen now for me. I can't wait until the summer. I can't wait until next year. Like if it's going, it's going. I want it. Evans' voice it's old. It lacks direction. It's all of those things. Where are you on it?
I'm not really concerning myself with it, if I'm brutally honest, because
you must be, the club has no
what you read on Twitter. Despite what you read on Twitter, you can't affect it. It's going to happen or it's not going to happen. I don't know. I'm no expert about this stuff. It needs to happen for me, but we can't control them. It doesn't matter whether we push, protest, write on Twitter. That is one thing we can't change. So it's not worth worrying about, if you ask me. I'm more concerned about what's going on the pitch because, yes, we do need some fundamental changes off it. But whatever happens with that takeover is going to change nothing in March. It's going to change nothing in April. It's going to change nothing in May.
Could not disagree more. Marcus Evans would not put statements out telling you what he plans to do if he didn't think your opinion mattered. Your opinion matters. And
I don't believe one word from Marcus Evans. I said in my group chat the other day, if he told me my seat was blue, I wouldn't believe it.
Not one word.
Leo said Lambert's job was safe. He's gone. Leo Neal said he'd take his time to appoint it. Paul Cook was there before he finished his sentence. I don't believe a single thing that comes out of that club.
Martin, can I ask you a question?
Of course you can, sir. Anything.
Martin, what's going to happen, right? And I'm not putting it down on it because I want it to go through the same as everybody. But what happens if it doesn't? What's going to change? How are we going to change this club
My optimism will change for a start.
Gary Roberts will be in the team, lads. Gary Roberts, will we get his boots on? He'll be down that touchline.
Alcohol I have on a daily basis will change.
Because the squad you saw, well, it will do. Because the squad you saw today, Ben, is the result of absolutely lack of investment. And regardless of what division this club is in this next summer, or this summer coming, I can't see anything but bleakness and Aaron Ginnans trotting up for a trial.
You're right. Because the money's not suddenly going to come from nowhere, and I feel like with this takeover, I feel like a child on a perpetual Christmas Eve. You're so excited for it, but it just seems to be taking forever for Christmas Day to come. But the looks of it, I'm not reading too much into the statements because they're all on NDAs, and what they're saying is a very standard language just before a takeover. And he has to say things like, under me, he will get this. That's standard. What I'm looking at, the filings, what's being put legally. And with the elevation to ratification, that's pretty damn. It's got to be something pretty spectacular to fall apart right now. But this is football. Who knows? Well, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
I think there's a extension on Hawkins coming through.
Oh, good God! Don't Shens shivers down my spine. Right, further Paul Cook comments. I've got. I had to bring some sanity to this football club. We have too many players, is something that he has said. TJ,
sanity.
I have to bring sanity to this football club. We have too many players.
Are you sure he didn't say sanitary?
I can only go by what my man has sent me. TJ, what do you think?
I think before I cut out first time, I said, sanity-wise, we need to just keep our feet on the ground a bit and just think about, it's not been perfect, but we've had a winning run. Yeah, player-wise, what we got, 40, 50 players is way too much. We need a proper clear out. I don't agree that it's kind of a free hit for him. I think given that we've got 2 games against the teams above us, we've got plenty enough to get in the playoffs at least. And I would expect that from a manager of his caliber. And I think we should all expect it as well, really. We're in the position we are despite the rest of the league not doing anything. I think the league is absolute tosh this year and we should be expecting a bit better.
Yeah, isn't it? I agree with that.
It's abysmal. Like, look at Pompey now, 4-0 down. We're a game in hand away from the playoffs.
So they are.
4-0 down. That's ridiculous.
2-0. Well, really? 4-0 to Northampton. Yeah, absolutely. I'll bring Anthony in as we round up the show. Anthony, we're just going through Paul Cook's press match conference comments there. The first one I'll come to you on is that I have to bring sanity to this football club. We have too many players. What do you make of those comments?
Well, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's always said that we've got a huge squad, and we're always told, squad depth will sort us out towards the end of the season. A lot of these clubs, they recycle the same players, and we're apparently meant to come out on top at the end of that, but that never seems to happen. So I think he needs to clear a load of them out and get a new lot in. We've still got a lot of Hurst's players that have come in. Lambert didn't really add too much. So it sounds like to me, I take from that comment that he's going to kick a load of them out, bring some players in that he's hopefully worked with. I think, is it Josh Windass has been rumoured that he might be coming. And I think he worked with under. So, if he can get a few players in that he's worked with, clear out some deadwood, then,
And it only takes a few. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to rip up 11 players. It takes 3 or 4 really good signings. That's all it takes. It's not a complicated business.
He knows also that we've got a couple of loanees, obviously, in and around the team. They're going to be disappearing anyway.
So going off those comments there, though, Ben, you say 3 or 4 players. To bring 3 or 4 players in, how many did you have to shed for you?
I think you have to shed a lot more. If he wants to shrink the squad, then you shed 10. We've got 50 players. If you can do a 2-for-1, get rid of every 2 or 3 players for one good one. That's what I think we have to do. He's saying it there. We have too many. We can't get any more because our wage budget is so high. Well, if you've got 50 players, it's going to be high, and you don't even have to pay them anything for that to happen. So why not have 2/3 of the amount of players pay a higher wage for a better caliber of player? But that's what I think, Cook is here for. It's not just good tactics and management. It's management of the football team. How many players do we have? How many do I need to do my job? Let's shed 10 players, which means we can employ 3 more on a higher wage and they'll be better quality. That's what I think his strengths will be.
Honest Abe, you need an edge to your team at this stage of the season, and in the playoffs, we're too soft. Can expect more teams to use Gillingham blueprint against us, 100%. Victoria Henderson, I was Lambert's biggest critic, but seeing how we played today, the squad has to be held account. Get rid of the sick, lame, and lazy. Mark Bliss, too many players in the squad means too many not playing, creating an unhappy atmosphere. Anthony, on to another Paul Cook comment here. It says, I'll keep myself to myself and get back to Ipswich when asked about making changes. What do you make of those cryptic comments there?
Yeah, that's a strange one. It sounds like perhaps he said he's only been in the building a few days, which is, obviously that's true. So it sounds like he's going to take stock and then come back to us with a few big changes by the sounds of things, which I think is what needs to happen. There's not a lot he can say, really. It sounds like he had a big chat with them after the game, which is what they need. I think he would have known the state of the club before he started. Those wins didn't really tell him anything different. We just about scraped by past Stadley, to be honest. Had their keeper not gone off, I think they would have beaten us pretty comfortably, to be honest. So it sounds like he's going to take stock and get back to us with some changes. I do worry, though, that, Hurst did that. He ripped the team apart and he got some players in. I think, though, that obviously Cook's a lot more experienced. Perhaps if he replaced them with some Championship players and not League One players, we'll get back there. But I don't really know I don't know if there's much you can take from his comments. Maybe he doesn't want to say too much.
Mark, do you think they're more in line with what Lambert was talking about before he left, in terms of actually it's not on-field changes he's talking about here, it's actually how the club is run behind the scenes? And one thing that Lambert was big on before he left was saying how poorly it was, to the point where Evans even said in his own press conference or his own article, we did have disagreements and there are things that Paul raised that I will pick up on later on. Is that more what Paul Cook's talking about here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think Paul Lambert was wrong in what he was saying in terms of the actual structure of the club. I mean, we all know as fans that the structure of the club is rotten. There's nothing good about this club in terms of what Marcus Evans is doing at the moment. And that's obviously why a new takeover has to come in and, a new strategy has to be built in place. But yeah, Paul Cook has obviously just come into the building, so he's got to really assess what the club is all about, but also what the squad is. None of these players are his players at the day. The only player that he's got there that was here is probably Gary Roberts. He's not even playing anymore. So, it's that type of thing where he's got to have time to look at this squad. There's going to be 2 or 3 games maybe where we're not going to get like the wins or the performances that the fans expect, but it's the overall picture that I'm looking forward to the most.
And Rob, just his last comments before we move on to Lincoln predictions. He said, Skuse, Chambers and Ward, important roles at the club, and in brackets, I've got not sure what that means for the future. So what sort of role do you expect those 3 players to play moving forward for you? Skuse, Chambers and Ward.
I don't know. I do see. I mean, what's the deal with their contracts? Obviously, Ward was 1 year, I believe, right?
They're all 1 year, I believe.
They're all 1 year, so they're all up in the summer, right? And he said that, right? Well, you'd have to say, of the earners at the club, I don't know how it works in terms of who's earning what, but I would imagine them 3 are probably in the higher group, along with probably Norwood, I would say. And Emir Hughes is probably still in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Emir Hughes. Good God.
Yeah, exactly. Probably, I hate to say it, but Sears might still be as well, because they've all been for us in the Championship. Anyone that's been there a while is going to be on it.
Yeah.
And they're the most vulnerable ones. They are the most vulnerable ones.
What would you do with them, Rob? I'd release them all.
I've said for a while we need a new captain. I've said we need a new captain anyway. We've got a right back in Matheson, but he's clearly not our player. I would go out and get a right back for sure. Chambers, maybe you can keep around the club. He can still play. He's still a defender. We're still going to need squad players, but I don't see him being the captain week in, week out anymore. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he gets 1 more year. I don't think either of the other 2. Scoots doesn't keep the ball.
No. I think one thing I'll say for Chambers is the fact that he, as much as what people think about him, he's been a loyal servant to his club, and I don't think he's the sort of player that will be a part-time player, if you know what I mean. So he's not going to just sit on the bench and have done with it and give up his captaincy just like that. I think for me, he either goes or he stays. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes at the end of the season, and we clear out this kind of
the remains of the mixed team, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, the furniture that we've got at this club, they are basically the furniture. We have to clear out the furniture. We're moving into a new house. We have to clear out the old furniture and put new stuff in. So that's what I'm saying with Chambers. I think he's not going to be a half-assed player. He's not going to just sit there. He's not going to just be on the bench. He's not going to play half the games or anything like that. He'll want to go out and he'll still want to play football. I don't think he's going to retire. I think Scoots will retire, but I don't think Chambers will. I could see him going back to Northampton or something like that.
Do you think TJ or Steve? I'll bring Stephen first. Actually, it's time to say goodbye to Luke Chambers in the same way Chelsea had to say goodbye to John Terry. That eventually you go through so many different managers and the same captain that you've just got to have a fresh start, and that includes a new voice leading the changing room.
The door's over there, lads. Away you go. Yeah, they'd be gone. They'd be gone. It's done. They're done. That was the past. We need to move forward. If we're moving forward, that means we are moving forward. Chambers, loyal servant, well done, but past the.
Who would you make as your captain?
I think it would be a real tough one.
Is anyone in this squad? Would you say, apart from Chambers and maybe Scouse, is any of those players captain material? I don't think Downs is.
I don't think so.
I don't think they are, and that's why it's so tough. But if we're moving forward and looking, and Cook will have an idea of who he wants to bring in. He ain't silly. He's seasoned. He knows what he's looking at. He knows potentially he's got eyes where he needs to be. He may have a thought about actually who we need to bring forward, and that might bring a fresh look on it. I think that. Chambers been loyal. Scusi, I think he's done personally. I can't see him coming back. Ward's, we've seen the good part of him in the first part of the season, but his legs have gone. And if Cook wants to play the wingers or that sort of stuff like that won't suit the guys that we've got at the club at the moment. Need I say it? Came Vincent Young. Who's he? Where's he been? Will we ever see him on a shirt?
You'll never see
we
him
don't
again,
know,
mate.
do we?
We need a right back in.
We will.
I think.
I honestly don't think we will. I just think we need to clear and we need to move forward and be fresh, and take away the Hurst element, the Mick element, and the previous elements, and make it a Cook team. That's all.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it.
I was just going to add, Martin. I was just going to add. Sorry to interrupt. I think the only player in there who's got the tenacity for it is Downs, contrary to what someone said in the comments. But the problem is he's ill-disciplined. He needs to get a more level head, and then he can do it. He's.
I think it worked for Roy. I'm not saying he's Roy Keane, but it worked for Roy Keane, who was the most hot-headed player.
But Roy Keane wasn't getting sent off at home to Northampton and petulant bookings all over the place, was he? Come on, he
played at a high level.
He was captain for one game, which was a horrendous game against Northampton, and got sent off. Come on.
Okay. Let's Steve.
That's what annoys me about it.
Roy Keane got sent off because of an injury that he suffered like a year before as a captain. Like, you can talk about whatever I think it was Alfie Haaland did to him as the captain. Do you not then say, well, that was last year. Yes, he laughed at me, but I'll do my football talking. He didn't. Roy Keane is a lot like Flynn Downs. In between the years, they've got that devilment, which Paul Lambert called it, and it sets them apart. It sets the best apart. Michael Jordan, best basketball player in the world, had a bit about him where if he got beat 3 o'clock in the morning, there he was, training. It sets the best apart. And sometimes I look at Luke Chambers and I don't think he's got that. That goal today, turns around, walks back to the halfway line. No G in, no shouting, no let's go.
Not Dave Chambers of 5 years ago, basically.
Yeah, and Cole Skews again. People are saying we miss Cole Skews. I'd like to know why we miss Cole Skews, because for me, he's pedestrian. Always has been.
I think you will see Ward, Scouse. I do actually think Chambers will go, but my opinion was we could keep him as a defender. But I do agree with Mark's comments because I don't see that he will. I think we could, but I think there's a place for him. That's what I'm saying. I think you'll lose Ward, Scouse, Chambers, Hughes, Sears. Can't think of anyone else that was there under Mick, actually, off the top of my head.
All right, let's round it up. But bumper show, love it. But let's kick it off. TJ, Tuesday night, Lincoln, win, lose, draw. If so, what's the result, please?
1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. And would you take that as a good result, or would you think that's disappointing at this point?
Good result in context of the table. Disappointing as to where we want to go, but we need some luck.
Perfect. As always, appreciate you, buddy. Look after yourself. See you in a week. See you tomorrow, Monday. Steve, over to you.
I'm going to be wild here. I'm going to say that Cook's going to mix it up, and we're going to win 2-1.
Love it. Appreciate you, Steve. Anthony, nice of you to join us today. Really is. What do you make of Tuesday night? Looking forward to it?
Cheers, mate. Yeah, I'll be there watching it on iFollow again put myself through it. I think we're going to win. I do think we're going to win. I think Cook's going to shake him up. Sound like he had to go home after this game. I think he's going to shake him up, and hopefully we'll get that new manager bounce from then. Although I feel we've already had it before he turned up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, what, win, lose or draw?
Win. Again, I'll go with Steve as well. 2-1, I think.
Perfect. Cheers, Anthony. Appreciate you. The Don, lay down the wood. What do you think?
I think I do fancy us to turn it around after today, but I think it'll be a very tight game. So I am going 1-0. 1-0 us. Okay. I think he'll make sure that we don't concede, but we've always got a chance with the likes of...
That's our playoff hopes.
Yeah, that's Paul Lambert's career, mate. On the way to Celtic. No, I think we've always got a chance to nick a goal in this as long as we've got Norwood up there. Parrott should have scored today, really. I mean, at some point, I do think we've got a goal in us now, which I don't think we had for quite a while. So I think we'll nick a 1-0 somehow.
Okay. Appreciate you, Rob. Look after yourself. Mark, over to us three as we started the show. What do we think?
Big changes coming, I think, boys. It's got to come. Cook will come in with the changes, and hopefully that should give us a little bit of momentum going forward. But I think with regards to Tuesday's result, don't know, maybe a score draw, maybe 2-1. I think it's going to be tight either way. Lincoln are a good side. We'll just have to see.
Perfect. Ben?
I'm going to go 1-0. I think there'll be a reaction. I would love to be a fly on the wall in the dressing room. I'm liking what Paul Cook's saying at the moment. I think we will see some changes because the moulding of what he wants to do starts now. And I'd like to think, if for no other reason, then you tend to have a reaction against a really terrible performance. And we have been doing good against the better teams. It's the shitter ones that tend to drag us down. I'm going to say a 1-0.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you two gentlemen for joining me this afternoon. It's been a real pleasure. The result in the game was dire, but your company was absolutely brilliant. Thank you all in the live chat for making it active. Don't forget you can support the show on Ko-Fi. We are back tomorrow at 1:30 with the Cruncher and the Media Mogul to unpack more of today. And between now and then, you never know. Fingers crossed I go live to say that we've been taken over. I doubt it, but if you put it out there, if you say to the wife, look, we'll do something later on tonight, you're tempting the universe, their interaction. So I'm putting it out there. But we'll wait and we'll see. With love, with care. See you all tomorrow. And thank you very much.